Hello and welcome to our third episode of Straight from the Cockpit. It's been a while. We are back. I've been doing a lot of traveling, a lot of flying, and a lot of things have been going on in aviation this past year that we haven't been taping, but we are back. Great episode. Lots of things to discuss. So, welcome again from Straight from the Cockpit. And we're back from Straight from the Cockpit. I'm your host, Captain Berman Blaze McGee, and today we will be discussing and talking about the the high can't really call it a hijacking, but where the mechanic in Seattle, Washington, took an airplane and just went out flying around, and then ultimately committed suicide using the airplane. So then we have a great segment in our cabin chat where we will discuss, the hotbed topics of the current events, and then also our special rotor wash segment. Again, we will have a good segment there today as well. So stay tuned. Enjoy the show. So welcome back again from Straight from the Cockpit with your host, Captain Berman Blaze McGee. We're here. We're shooting on location inside our Bell 206 helicopter. And as always, our trademark name is Straight from the Cockpit, and we are straight here in the cockpit, and we're going to discuss today talking about the guy that took the airplane from Seattle Tacoma Washington Airport, SeaTac. Everyone was just amazed that he was able to take the airplane and just go out and just fly around, and it was a commercial airline. It was a turboprop, a Q400. I've had experience in those on the avionics side, and also on the maintenance test runs and things like that I've been a part of when I worked for Bombardier. And I gotta tell you, it's a simple aircraft. It's a great aircraft. I think it's a great, excellent aircraft. And when this gentleman goes out and just takes an aircraft, and everyone's talking about, oh, is aviation safe, and how was he able to do that, and if someone else would do that. Some things you just cannot take out. You can't mitigate the risk. You can't know what's in someone's mind every single day of their life. And this guy had a clean background. He had loving family around him. He wasn't an isolated guy. He wasn't a loner or anything that fits the typical mold of what they look for someone that does something like this. He wasn't radicalized. He wasn't, some terrorist. He just, from what I gather from everything from that's been on the news, and seeing what happened and listening to the radio communication, he was just a guy that was, having a bad day, and for whatever reason, he flipped and said, "Hey, I'm today is the day I'm gonna take my life." And he, being an aviation guy, he decided that he was gonna take his own life using an airplane, and there was no mechanism that could have stopped that, because no one could predict that. No one would know that that's what was going to transpire on that particular day, and that's what happened. He got in the aircraft, used a tow truck to push it back so that he could then start the aircraft up and taxi out, and he didn't communicate with the tower, and I kind of think that's kind of where the tower could have done something a little bit more once, because when he was taxiing, other airplanes were saying, "Hey, this airplane is not talking to anybody." The tower recognized that they wasn't talking to anybody, and I can't really say that they should have put another airplane in danger by blocking him, but I think they could have put a vehicle or something on the runway that would have prevented him from being able to take off, because ultimately you need enough speed to get up to the rotation speed. And when I say rotation, I mean that's when on the takeoff, when you do your initial roll and you get up to speed, and you get up to the rotation speed of the aircraft. That means the speed at which you can pull back on the yoke to lift it up off the ground. So that's what I mean when I say that. So if they had said, hey, we have a rogue aircraft, they call to the ground control guy, and they have vehicles. Every airport has vehicles that are going up and down the runway checking for foreign object debris, or commonly known as FOD, and they will speed down the runway, just to make sure there's nothing out there, and there's no hindrance to the aircraft, nothing that would endanger the aircraft, as well as getting birds out of the way and things like that. So I think they had an opportunity when he was taxiing before he got to the runway, that they could have, once they realized it was a rogue aircraft, he wasn't responding and he was intending to take off, I think they could have gotten a truck out there to block his way where he couldn't go anywhere. But again, we're looking at this after the fact, so I can't say that that could have been done, because I wasn't there on site. I wasn't in the control tower. I don't know what they saw and how quickly they saw or realized what was happening. So I'm kind of Monday morning quarterbacking, if you will, but I'm just saying that I think that could have been something they could have tried, and they may have. I don't know, but again, the guy gets into the airplane, starts it up, taxis out, takes off, no problem. He gets up, he's flying, he's having conversations, even joking with the control tower. So that says a lot in itself. This guy was a rational guy. He wasn't crazy. He just had a bad day and decided that he was going to do this in this manner. So to the aircraft, my God, this guy was doing loops, he's doing all kind of stuff that the aircraft wasn't designed to do, trying to actually break the aircraft and kill himself, and it wouldn't work. He could not break the aircraft. So kudos to Bombardier. I know it's a bad way to find out that, hey, our aircraft is pretty doggone sturdy and pretty good, but for this guy, no pilot's license, no formal training, gets into there just based off of his knowledge and understanding, probably from seeing run-ups and seeing startups with pilots every day. He figured out how to start it up, and from that, it's just common sense. It's just common sense of how to make an aircraft roll, how to, if you have basic general aviation knowledge of how an airplane works, my God, you can fly the airplane. It's not a tremendous task. And where I say the training becomes important, training is more so when things go wrong, when the aircraft is not performing to what it's supposed to do. That's where all of our training kicks in and everything, because that's when you really need to know what you're doing, is when everything is not working as it's supposed to and designed to. So to everyone out in the aviation world, that or all our aviation all of our people is traveling, and traveling by aviation means there's nothing to worry about. This was not a security breach. This was not something that you would see on a routine basis, and I gotta say, it was 1 in a million. He was the 1 in a million. I can guarantee you that airports everywhere is taking additional protocols, probably changing some procedures for aircraft not talking to the tower and getting in the way and not doing what they're supposed to. So I don't think you have anything to worry about. So everything is good, and I say thank you for watching Straight from the Cockpit. Stay tuned for our next segment, Cabin Chat. And welcome back to Straight from the Cockpit with your host, Captain Berman Blaze McGee. As you know, everything has been going on in the news in the U.S. related to Colin Kaepernick and the kneeling with the NFL. President Trump taking on the NFL as well because he's saying they're disrespecting the flag, and you know these are the hot topics that have been going on here recently, and we're just gonna have some cabin chat and chat about it, about what everyone is up in arms about, and the whole point of both sides. So stay tuned for another segment of Cabin Chat. Hello and welcome back to Straight from the Cockpit. This is our Cabin Chat segment. As I said, we're going to be talking about everything that's going on with the Colin Kaepernick and the Nike ad, President Trump, and the Mueller investigation and everything. And I got to say, depending on your source of information, will kind of skew your view one way or the other of what you think is going on and what's right, what's wrong. And I gotta say, you know, if you watch Fox News, you gotta get one version. If you watch CNN, you gotta get another version. And they're polar opposite of each other. Depending, it's really funny. You know, you watch Fox News, they are so pro. They're so pro Trump. And pro. I don't like to use the word that they're racist. I'll just say that they're extremely polarized. And in some instances, yes, some of their people that they bring on the show, they are 100% totally racist views. And then you can go to CNN, and they're on the other extreme. They'll have guests on there that are just as extreme, but on the other end of the spectrum. So they're both guilty of it, and it's sad because I don't understand. For me, I can't grasp why you can't just find common ground that, hey, you know, for me, I'm the type of person that says, hey, the president won the election. He's our president. Everyone gets behind the president on what he believes is the best approach for our country. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Social, whatever. Once the election is over, let's set the campaigning and the politics aside. The president has been elected. He won. Some will say, well, he cheated, whatever. Doesn't matter. The point is, he won. Whether he won at the aid of a foreign government, heck, even America have played in other people's elections, so let's not get so wrapped up in that. So I support our president 100%. I feel like everyone should get behind his agenda because he was elected, and he's doing it the way that he thinks is best. And if it's wrong, the next election, the next president comes in and they try something different. But it takes all of us getting behind whomever wins, and then try and say, hey, okay, this president won, so let's get behind him, allow him to take his approach, unless it's something just, you know, absolutely ludicrous. I mean, just off the wall. There should be no reason we as all American citizens, all the elected officials say, okay, this is what the top guy in our society and government has said he wants to do. Let's try and see if his approach actually works. If it does, great. It's great for all of us. If it doesn't, then you have your marching orders to say, hey, we tried it your way, it didn't work, Now we're going to elect someone new because what you said did not work, and we supported you, and it did not work. So that's my view on it. And that's me, Berman McGee, the citizen, the U.S. citizen. That's it. Uh, but the problem is, too many people make money off of creating issues, creating something to get people to get behind. Because you can make an argument for anything. There's always going to be someone that's going to follow what you're saying and want to do it a different way just because. So, so to that I say that everyone should take a deep breath. The president was elected. Get behind him. Push his approach. See if it works. If it doesn't, then you come out yelling, screaming, and whatever to get him out of office by electing someone new. Not talking about this impeachment craziness and all this kind of stuff, and you know, doing these investigations. It's wasting a lot of taxpayers' money uh, just to push a political agenda because you're angry at the person that got elected and the person you wanted didn't win. I don't agree with that. That's not in the spirit of U.S. citizens. We're not. That's not what America is about. Okay, so now let's get to another hot topic here. Uh, Colin Kaepernick and Nike this week came out with an ad: believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. And my, you people went, crazy on one side, and then on another side, everyone, loves it. And that's the beauty of America. We can do that. 100%. This is America. You can do that, and it's beautiful. I travel all around the world. I go to many different countries, and I say to anyone that has an issue with Nike and Colin Kaepernick or the president, travel outside of the U.S. and go to some smaller countries in South America, in Asia, in Africa, parts of Eastern Europe, and I guarantee you, you will return back to the U.S. with a completely different view and realize how beautiful it is. Not how great it is, how beautiful it is that we're able to protest, we're able to speak out of different things, and companies can freely choose to get behind things that they feel are either marketable or that speaks to their vision of what their company stands for. Aside from just selling products. So from my standpoint here, I say take a look at that first before you get up in an uproar of what they chose to do with Colin Kaepernick. Now, let's talk about the issue of what Colin Kaepernick. Now, I'm a Black American, and Colin Kaepernick spoke up, about police brutality with Black Americans. For a spat there, a lot of police were shooting unarmed Black men in America, and not just Black Americans, but also Hispanic Americans or Brown Americans, however you want to call it. But and they were doing it at it was like almost every other week there was another shooting, and then a case of no weapon was found. They just aggressively went in, shot first, asked questions later. That's my issue. And my issue is that police have somehow gotten this in their mind that they are in combat. Whether it and it and to me it doesn't matter what color that they're going against, but it seems to be because the black communities are, has a lot of issues with poverty and everything that goes along with poverty, drug use, uh, drug sales, mental issues, all that stuff. So you're gonna have a lot more police involvement or direct police contact. You're gonna have a lot more frequency of that in those communities. And for whatever reason, they have gotten a military or thinking like they're going into a combat zone and they just want to shoot, and they're armored up like we were when we were in Iraq. I served in Iraq, and we were body armored up, and everywhere we went we had body armor on because we were getting mortared every day at the base that I was on, and I was in LSA Anaconda, and it's one of the largest. It is the largest foreign military base, and we were getting mortared every day. And anytime we flew, I had my body armor on, I had my sidearm, and everything. So, but that's a combat zone. That's not a city in the United States. So why are police showing up on, to address citizens, full body armor, weapons, and everything drawn as if they're going into combat? I think that's the first thing we should tackle with this issue that Colin Kaepernick initially started kneeling for. And I say initial because he's no longer in the NFL, so he can't kneel during the national anthem. So I say initial. But as it be, that's the issue, and it's such a simple thing to discuss and talk about. It's again, it's all about training. You can easily get that addressed by simply just changing tactics. It's not difficult. Police should be more compassion. They should be taught more compassion. They should come in, talk. They shouldn't be getting out of their cars on a routine traffic stop with their guns drawn, and just start antagonizing whoever they're dealing with, and then just shoot them. There was two that really. I take that back. There was three cases that I took note of that really bothered me. One was the little kid in the park where the cop just drove up, jumped out, shot him. Hands down, that's murder. I don't care how you say it, how you twist it, what you say. A 9-year-old child in a park playing cops and robbers with himself should not have been just shot undiscriminately. That's first degree murder. How that wasn't addressed, I can't say. Then the case where the gentleman was sitting in his car and he tells them, "Hey, I'm a licensed gun permit holder. I have my weapon on me in the car." He's telling the police officer. The police officer tells him to get his identification, and most people have their wallet. Most men have their wallet in their back pocket. He goes to reach for his license and his gun permit, and the police shoots him. Once again, following the instructions of the police, he's already told him without prompt, "Hey, I have a weapon. I have a permit for my weapon." The police should have automatically been calm at that point to say, "Hey, this guy's doing what he's supposed to do and what he's trained to do as a licensed gun owner. He's making the police aware that he has a weapon. He's making the police aware that he has a license for that weapon. Police shoots him. Hands down, it's wrong. That's first-degree murder. If you're so afraid that you have to shoot someone first before you know anything else, then you're in the wrong line of work. You're in the wrong line of work. You shouldn't be a police officer, period. So, to that I say, police, you have to do a better job of policing yourselves and the bad apples, because there are bad apples. And I don't even call them bad apples. There are bad people. There are bad cops. And you got to get rid of them out of your ranks so that it makes your job less dangerous. Because I admit, your job is dangerous. It is a dangerous job. But it comes with that responsibility of saying that you want to be a police officer. That's an inherent danger. Just like for me being a pilot, it's an inherent danger of being a pilot. It's an inherent danger of being a pilot in the U.S. military. Because when you get deployed, there are going to be times that you're going to get shot at. I got shot at on a daily basis for over a year. So you can't take a position or take a job that you are not geared for, to say, hey, I know this is a dangerous job. I'm going to go out every day, do my best to make it less dangerous for everyone by doing the right thing, by engaging people with dignity and talking to people sensibly, not automatically defaulting, hey, I'm going to shoot this person. And that brings me to the next case that I took particular issue with. And that's the case where the cop was in the car driving in a pursuit where he literally says, I'm going to kill this guy. That is premeditated murder. I don't care what that guy did beforehand. He didn't draw a weapon on you. He didn't shoot at you. He didn't do anything. You literally said, "Oh, I'm going to fucking kill this," and I can't remember the exact words, but you say that. When you say that and you act on that, that is premeditated first-degree murder on video. So then you get caught planting a weapon in the car. That's even further tampering with evidence and other charges that are related to it. And for juries that are letting these guys off with their, oh, I felt my life was in danger. When you put that uniform on every single day, when you wake up, your life is in danger. For us, as just regular citizens, human beings, every day that we wake up and we walk outside our homes or whatever, it's a danger. We could get hit by a car, we could get hit any type of accident, you could slip on the floor, anything. It's an inherent danger that we know that comes with living every day. So I don't like the issue of them being able to just get off just because, hey, I felt I was in danger, so I shot this person. Even though there was actually, you said you were going to shoot and kill this person, so there was no danger, and he was running away from you. Explain that. So that's my position on that. Now, I gotta say, and I gotta give, getting back to the Colin Kaepernick and the Nike ad, I gotta say, I like it. I think it's good. I can't understand why anyone can say they don't support trying to. We will never get rid of injustice. There's always going to be injustice in society because it's just how it is. But trying to improve, there's ways of changing laws. There's things that make it less prevalent as it is. So kudos to Colin Kaepernick for taking a knee initially to get a debate started and get people talking, bringing awareness to it. This is one of the instances where I disagree with the president as a veteran, as a war veteran. I disagree that he's disrespecting the flag because I understood what he was saying. He's saying that, hey, the flag and what it represents and what it's supposed to represent are not matching up. And he's saying, hey, I want our country to be better. That's it. I don't particularly take offense to it as a veteran, nor as a citizen, nor as a black American. It cost him his career, and again, it's good that Nike is showing their support, and this is not uncommon for Nike. Nike stands behind their athletes and their endorsees. So I'm not surprised that Nike took this approach. But I also say to anyone that's on the other side of it where they don't support, guess what? You are in America. You're an American citizen. You have that right. And that's the beauty of it. You have that right. So everyone should embrace the fact that you have that right, because we're in such an excellent country that we can say, hey, we have some issues in our country. You can bring it up. Just the fact that you can bring it up, it's great. It's great. Because I can tell you, in other countries, you can't do that. They will chop your head off. They will cut your tongue out. They will kill you. It's completely different in some countries. So let's appreciate and celebrate the fact that Nike can do what they did. Colin Kaepernick can do what he did. You can do what you do as far as countering their viewpoint. It's beautiful all the way around. So in that, I embrace it all. I think it's great. So, and I gotta give a kudos and shout out to the Young Turks. I love their online podcast. I watch it. They kind of get in the middle and they say, okay, here's the one side you see on Fox News, here's one side you see on CNN, and they kind of get to the roots of what discussions are, and I like it. If you've never watched the Young Turks, TYT, search them on YouTube. It's great. And now to Jason Whitlock on this Colin Kaepernick. You should be ashamed of yourself. 100%. I can't believe that you would actually make the arguments that you make against Colin Kaepernick, not only as a U.S. citizen, but as a black American and as an athlete. I cannot believe that you take the stance just because of who you're working for, because we can go back and search and how you were completely on a different side. Then you go change to a conservative network, and that's fine. I understand they want to push their viewpoints, and that's what their network is for, and you want to be employed. But at some point, you have to stand up and say, hey, this is not right. This is not the issue I want to be trying to go against. And again, you're entitled to your viewpoint, but when you're contradicting your own self, when we can do a simple search and hear you say something completely different, and then you change because you went to a different network and you're paid to push a certain view or narrative, shame on you, Jason Whitlock. Sorry, but you are terrible. You're a terrible person. You're just, oh my God. You're another Uncle Ruckus. And if you don't know who Uncle Ruckus is, I encourage everyone to go out and search Uncle Ruckus of the Boondocks and view him, because that's what you are, along with that I always forget his name because it's not worth even remembering, but the crazy sheriff from Minnesota. Uh, just hate your own self because you're a black American and you hate all your people. It's something wrong with you in your mind that you find it okay to do that. But I'm going to end this on a happy note. I like I said, please check out the Young Turks TYT on YouTube, and subscribe to their channel, and subscribe to our channel, and also Straight from the Cockpit, and continue to view. We're going to continue to discuss things, and we're going to be the news, watching the news, and we'll talk about that in Cabin Chat. That's what this segment is all about. So thank you again for watching another episode of Straight from the Cockpit, and stay tuned for our next Rotor Wash segment. Excellent. Thank you again. Enjoy and safe travels. Today on Rotor Wash, it's all about Trump going crazy and getting angry over these people that are flipping on him and all that kind of stuff. Point is, hey, don't worry about it. You're the president. You're doing a job. Do your job. Let the different departments do their job. Don't worry about it. At the end of the day, you prove them wrong. Nothing they can say, nothing they can do. Everything is just a detractor, and that's just basically it. And that's all for today's episode from Straight from the Cockpit. I'm your host, Captain Bourbon Blaze McGee. Have a good day. Safe journeys.